So what is your least satisfied point in Taipei's traffic?
I will say motorbikes. I think there is too much motorbikes.
Too many motorbicycle and the rider are really rude.
I feel like in Taiwan drivers are a bit more aggressive. Like usually in France, like you have to respect the rules. The rules are very strict, and the rules enforcement is also very strict. So yeah, I would say here people are less regarding on this aspect probably.
Hello everyone, this is Wendy from Taiwan News. Life has changed a lot after the whole country was placed under level 3 restriction to contain the COVID-19 outbreak. However, it provides us an opportunity to slow down and take a closer look at our city. Today we're going to explain why Taipei lags behind the global change of urban mobility and what dire consequences we might face if no action is taken. Follow us. Today we'll invite a guest to help us pinpoint the problems currently existing in Taipei's urban design. Let's welcome Patrick!
Hi everybody!
So Patrick, first question. What is the fact if we design a city for cars, and can we find any examples here in Yongkang Street?
I think in general most people will agree that if you have a car that often weighs more than 1,000 kilograms and moves 6 times the speed of a pedestrian, it's going to create friction if you want that to coexist. So what happened is most urban planners, they choose the car over the pedestrian. So here in Yongkang Street you can see the street, 80% is dedicated to the car, and the people don't really feel at home here. It's not really at ease. Also the noise goes in here right now. So I feel like if you give the design the city for a car, the pedestrian, they will eventually suffer from it. So if you look around here, we see people walking, going, buying food, chilling with their children maybe. But at the same time, they also allow space for cars. They pass through. Actually, they don't create any business, but it creates friction with the people that's spending money here.
So, should we get rid of these cars and turn the street into a pedestrian zone? Is that possible?
Actually, a lot of commercial areas are car-free. For example, the Netherlands, all city centers are car-free, and they only allow cars in the morning for making deliveries. And I think Yongkang Street would be a good example to do that as well.
So, Patrick, since there are already many cars in Taipei, how do we discourage people from driving them?
Well, wherever people go, they will always consider first how to get there, what might be the most convenient way. And so far, how the city Taipei is designed, far too often is the car the most convenient way. This because the roads, they can take them everywhere. And at the same time, there are parking spots, so they can park their car over there. So if you want to discourage people, you have to take away some things. So maybe we take away some parking places, so when people want to go there, they cannot park their car. And then they might think, is there another way to go there? And if you additionally add bike lanes or nice walking areas to go there, you can switch them to using other mobility modes next to a car.
Why it is a problem if a city has a lot of parking spaces?
Well, cars in general, they take up a lot of space, not only for roads, but indeed also for parking. So if you take the on-street parking like this, total in Taipei is 900,000 square meters. That's 3 times the size of Dan Park. If you combine that with all the off-street parking, that is 7 times the size of Dan Park. In a city like such as Taipei, where house prices are extremely high, this space is very valuable. So using it for parking, it can be put more in more valuable way.
会买车也是因为因为上班地方比较远，然后你搭大众运输工具容易误点，对，所以
有时候很难控制，然后有小孩也必须要用车比较好接送啦。尤其现在疫情就比较担心，对。
What can we do with the extra public space after reducing these parking spaces?
Well, what we see in many other cities where they already did this, if you take away the parking spaces and give them back to the public, people will come out, put benches there, sit on it, children can play again on these spots. There's one event called Parking Day, and then they turn one day the parking spot into a public space, and people that pass by, they will just sit there, maybe read a book or read a newspaper. They will enjoy the newly acquired space very fast. So it's actually really about reimagining how your city can look like and having the determination to turn it into reality.
Today we have explored several solutions to help us create more public space in Taipei. What's your idea? Tell us in the comments. This is Wendy from Taiwan News, and thanks Patrick for joining us today. See you next time. Bye bye.